afternoon, all my rural Xers out there. This is Eric, the rural Xer, here with you, just outside of Jasper, Georgia, on top of a hill in a fairly well-known place to most locals around here, the old Lawson Chevrolet dealership. Now, there is some history behind this dealership. It's been around for a number of years. I don't know the exact history of it. I figured that it probably started maybe back in the late 40s or early 50s, somewhere in there, because it actually started out in a very small, I think it was a two-story brick building in downtown Jasper, right on the corners of East and West Church Street, where Main Street crosses right there. What now is nowadays the Mule House restaurant. It's been updated, painted, and well, actually not painted, but they've actually remodeled the whole building. It doesn't look anything like it used to. When I first moved down here, it was actually the old Napa Auto Parts place. And of course, Lawson Chevrolet had moved out years before that. And Napa had it for a number of years until they built a new place out here in this part of town, kind of west of downtown Jasper. And so it sat there and abandoned for several years until the new property owner bought it and put in the Mule House restaurant, and I think it's doing pretty good. Now, whenever they moved out, Lawson Chevrolet, they moved on out south of town off of East Church Street going towards Tate, and it was a place down there. I think someone told me today at work that it was right across from the old Gardner Ace Hardware. So it was one of those buildings down there just south of town going on the right going towards Tate. But anyway, and then sometime probably in the mid to late 80s or early 90s, I know that's a very wide time frame, they built this place up here on the hill where we're at today, and they moved the place out here, and it was a very big place, and I'll show you here in just a few minutes. This parking lot is enormous. They could park quite a few new cars, trucks, all kinds of vehicles all over this place here. It was quite a dealership for a number of years, but the old man Lawson, who owned it, the same guy that I was talking to, a friend of mine at work, said that he'd passed away a number of years ago, and some of the other family had taken it over and run it for a number of years, but it started going downhill in later years, and they ended up selling it out to Days Chevrolet, and Days bought it and ran it as Days Chevrolet up here for a very short time, because they bought some land just north of here off of 515, probably not even a quarter mile up the road, on the same side of the road as the old Days Chevrolet dealership here. And as soon as they got it built, they moved the dealership out there, because from what I heard, the building had deteriorated into such an extent, at least parts of it had deteriorated to such an extent that it just wasn't salvageable, and they wasn't able to remodel it or fix it up. So they just elected to build a new place on up the road. So that's what they've done. So it's been sitting here. It's actually prime real estate, I'm sure, commercial real estate, and there may be some outfit that has already bought it and has plans for it. I'm not really sure. But we are going to get out and explore around just on the outside. Like I said, this place is in very deplorable condition. There's parts of the facade that are literally falling down and literally laying on the ground and in the bushes. It has not been taken care of. The parking lot area for a number of years was used by utility companies such as Pike, who contracts for a lot of the local electrical companies such as Amicalola, EMC, Georgia Power, ones like that. So they parked a lot of their equipment over here until they got another facility, which is just across the road off of Camp Road. But as most people know, that's from around this area and all. But you're not here to listen to me babble on about the place. You're actually here to see what it looks like, I'm sure. So we're going to get out and explore around just a little bit. And like I said, this place, honestly, it's wide open to the elements. The back side, where the actual service department, where they worked on the vehicles and everything, is wide open. It looks like someone's using it for some sort of a warehouse or something, and all the bay doors are wide open. But it just looks like a lot of junk back there. I'm not really sure what it is. I will get some shots of that, but I'm not going to get up real close to it. I'm definitely not going to go inside this facility at all, because it just don't look like it's safe at all, especially the front part of it around where the showroom is at. In fact, there's a door that's wide open on the showroom. The last time I was here and taking some video, of course, I had gotten out of the car, bumped my wireless transmitter from my mic, and turned it off, and I didn't realize it. So I got home and started looking at the video footage that I had. It didn't have any audio. The only audio that I was able to get was from my intro, which I'm doing another intro anyway. So anyway, with that said, we're going to get out and take a look around, and come and join me if you will. All right, here we are looking out across the parking lot, the lower part of it, back towards Camp Road. As you can see, the Quick Trip off there in the distance. It is very empty. Pike must have gotten all of their equipment out of here, moved it across the road to the facility over there and all, but you can see how expansive this parking lot is and how empty it is right now, because there's hardly any equipment around here. There's one old truck, some sort of a utility truck over here, as you can see. I don't know if that belongs to Pike or someone else. I don't know. It looks like a kind of an antique. It looks like something from the 40s or something. Very interesting. And it looks like it could even be used. But anyway, just panning around here, showing you what the expansiveness of this parking lot and how many vehicles they could park here. Quite a few. All right, here we are over here at the parts department, looking right here at the parts department, and looking more towards the front over here to the left. This is the service bay. There's 3 bays, 3 lanes where customers would pull their vehicles in and drop them off, and talk with a service rep who would write up the orders for the cars, I'm sure, and then they would pull it out from there and on around to the other side of the building to where the actual bays were, where they worked on them at, and we'll take a look at that here in a few minutes. But it looks pretty dilapidated, but this isn't even the worst part of it. This is only the back side. This is actually what looks the best of it all. But as we walk up here towards the service department, the back corner of the showroom right here, this is in pretty bad shape right here. Part of that corner has fallen completely off, and it's just wide open to the elements. You can see right in to the building and everything. It is in bad shape, and that's one reason why I don't want to get too close to this thing. I just don't trust it. But we'll take a look on around the building here. I just wanted to show how grown up these bushes were right here. They've gotten pretty grown up right here on the back corner of the showroom on the right side. This is the right side of the showroom, and here's another piece of that facade I was talking about that has fallen off. Back up, here we go. And you can see right up there, that facade is just completely come down. There's gaping holes looking right into the second floor of the building up there. And then here's the piece of the facade that's fallen on the ground. So you can see how bad shape this building actually is. And walking on around here, you'll see all the grass that's grown up, the bushes that are, well, the bushes aren't too bad there in the front, and the planters. a little trimming up, that would be fine. But of course, I'm sure that whoever buys this place is not going to try to fix this place up at all. They are going to bulldoze it down. But yeah, we're walking on around here to the front, around the drive here. And there's the front of it. And as I had tried to point out before in one or two of my other videos, you can see the old Geo sign. And that was from back in the late 80s and early 90s that Chevrolet started making Geo. That was in cooperation with, I think, Isuzu, if I'm not badly mistaken. And the bodies, I think, were made by Chevrolet, the design and everything, but the motors in them were Isuzu, and they call them Geos. But they didn't last for very long, probably somewhere between 5 to 10 years, and then they did away with the Geo name altogether. I don't know if they still do anything like that or not, but you can see, if you can see up there on the facade, right there in the front. In fact, let me zoom in a little bit and see if you can see. Yeah, you might be able to see that just a little bit. Right there where the old right where the Chevrolet emblem used to be. And it was behind that chevron, as they called it. But anyway, so there's that. And you can see what the rest of it looks like. Pretty bad shape and all. Yeah, here's the corner, and I just now noticed this, but there is, the more of that overhang has fallen down into the bushes, as you can see right there. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Plane taking off over there. Pretty interesting. Looks like a business jet taking off. But you can see that is part of the facade or overhang, whatever you want to call it, has fallen down right there and fallen into those bushes right there. This door over here is wide open going into the showroom on the left side of the dealership. Of course, the dealership faces 515 over here. And I'll show you the back, but I'm not going to show too much because I don't want, you know, I'm just showing you the building, not what's in it so much. There are trailers parked back there on the back side, but every one of those doors are open back there. Every one of them. Back through there. Now that don't look too bad, honestly, but I tell you what, this front side up here looks in really rough shape. Really rough shape. For sure. Got an ambulance coming. Now, this is part of more of the parking of new cars and stuff. Right down here. Uh-oh, might have been an accident right down here at the intersection. But you can see just how expansive this whole property is. And it is really expansive. A lot of good parking here. Even now, there's not too much weeds or grass growing up through the cracks of the place. The other dealership hasn't been gone from here too awful long, maybe a couple of years at the most, I would think. So there hasn't been a whole awful lot of grass growing up. There is some grass, as you can see right here, but it's not as bad as some places like the old Oh shoot, I can't even remember what the name of it is now. It's south of town. But yeah, must have been a crash over here. I'm gonna cut it off on that. I don't want to get that into the video. That's not what this video is about, and I'm not trying to do anything. So back out here, show you the rest of it. And there's that truck right there. But yeah, this place is like one YouTuber always says, this place is hurting. This place is hurting bad. And as you can see, parts of that facade has just completely turned loose and fallen down, and that would hurt if you got caught underneath that, for sure. Dunn's Fena, that's what I was trying to think of, and I couldn't think of the name of the place. That was one of the first abandoned places that I actually filmed, was Dunn's Fena. And I could not think of it off the top of my head out there. I guess I was so distracted by what was going on with that accident with the ambulances that was out there at the road and everything. But I did notice as I was coming through there yesterday, I was following a truck, and the truck pulled off in front of me and started pulling into the Dunn's Fena driveway. But I don't know if he was actually pulling on up into the parking lot area of the facility or not. But I'm kind of interested in to see what's going on out there, because that place has gotten pretty bad as far as the parking lot. Now, the building itself, I think, is still in pretty good shape, but the parking lot has just been absolutely overtaken with weeds and kudzu and vines and everything else. You can't really see parts of the parking lot because the weeds have grown out there so much, and I'd kind of like to see what's going on, if anything's out there. But anyway, this brings us to the end of our little exploration. I know it was just outside. Couldn't really get up close to it. Didn't want to take a chance on a chunk of that building falling on my head. And just out of respect for the owners and everything. Again, when I do this, I'm not here to steal or to destroy or to vandalize anything about the building. I'm only here out of absolute respect for the building and the grounds. Just taking pictures and video to document this place, as all places that I do, for future generations to see what the place looked like before it gets completely changed, or probably in this case destroyed. I'm sure this place will probably be bulldozed to the ground, and actually the whole hill here will probably be level to make room for some sort of a grocery store, shopping center, who knows. I mean, I have heard rumors that there might be a Publix coming in here, and that was one reason why the Pike people were having to get all their equipment moved off of here, was because of that. I don't know. I really don't, so don't take my word for it. It's just what I've kind of heard in the rumor mill. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that little exploration and documentation that I've done of this old abandoned Lawson Chevrolet. If you did, please give it a like, comment on it. You're more than welcome to comment and leave more suggestions of other places that you would like to see me explore, abandoned places and all. And support me on Patreon too. Kind of watching a car back there. I don't know if they were trying to figure out what I was doing. Probably just wondering what and all. Anyway, I might better get on out of here, so we'll see you later. Sorry about the interruption, folks, with my outro, but I felt like I needed to get out of there and off the property, because I saw a couple of cars go by, and I wasn't sure if they might be employees of the business that was over on the other side of the property that was fixing to leave and lock up, because I do know that they close the gates at night. I've drove by there and seen the gates closed and chain and lock on it, and on the weekends. And one time I was out there last week and was doing some filming, trying to do some filming anyway, and I started to leave, and just as I was pulling down there, the guy that I guess normally locks the gate was in the process of locking the gate, and I sure didn't want to get stuck in there. So yeah, I was it was going on 5 o'clock, and I thought they might have been fixing to leave the employees of the business, which is a body shop, I think, on the other side of the property over there that does still use that property for their business and has access to it. And that's the reason that I can get in there and kind of snoop around a little bit and get some video of the place. But yeah, I felt like I need to get out of there and let them shut the gate if they needed to. I pretty much got all the footage that I needed anyway, so I figured I'd just do the rest of my outro here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little exploration of the Lawson Chevrolet property here in Jasper. And if you did, give it a like below if you would. And if for more content, please consider subscribing to my channel too. Also, if you would like to help support us, you can through my Patreon page. I'll leave a link in the description below, along with my other social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. I'll leave links to those as well in the description below. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, folks, and I hope to see you in my next video. God bless and have a great evening.